Today at noon, police arrest 2 stabbing suspects inside a Portland high school. We take you live outside the scene. Plus a video you just have to see to believe how everyone involved is doing and the charges that the driver faces. Also ahead, we speak to Jackie Wiles on her Olympic accomplishments and how it feels to take home a medal. And thank you for joining us this afternoon. I'm Tim Gordon. Happening right outside our studios here at KGW, police are investigating a stabbing that locked down a nearby high school. We're going to head straight down to our Thomas Schultz. And Thomas, what are you learning this afternoon?
Yeah, Tim, police told us that they arrested 2 suspects who ran inside Lincoln High School. The arrest happened as police were responding to a reported stabbing near Southwest 5th Avenue and Southwest Madison, where one person suffered non-life-threatening injuries. Here's video of what looks like Portland police arresting one of those suspects. Around a dozen police cars swarmed the school around 11 o'clock this morning. Multnomah County Sheriff's Office officials tell us officers chased the suspects on foot before arresting them inside Lincoln High. We overheard police say one of the suspects is a 15-year-old, but we have not been able to independently confirm that. We do know that Lincoln High School went on lockdown while this was happening. We've also reached out to Portland Public Schools to find out if the suspects arrested were students at Lincoln High School. That's still unclear right now, though a student we spoke with told us they were told to leave the main office as this all transpired.
We were told in the main office to go into lockdown, and then they told us to leave out of the office because it wasn't safe in there for us.
And Tim, just 30 seconds ago, I was speaking to 3 high school students who were leaving Lincoln High School. They have been released for lunch. That's standard protocol for Lincoln. They said the lockdown was very short. It started first as a lock-in, meaning that the doors were closed and students couldn't leave class before then transitioning to a lockdown. Fortunately, police were able to catch those suspects very quickly, even though they did get into the high school and in a swift manner. Lincoln High School appears to be back to normal operations. Tim.
Wow. Okay. Thanks a lot, Thomas. Appreciate it. No, your eyes are not deceiving you. This is new surveillance video from a front door camera in Tigard showing a pickup truck literally flying into the house across the street. There it goes again. This happened last Friday on Southwest Lakewood Place. Tigard police say the pickup went airborne after hitting a dirt mound, flying roughly 100 feet through the air and clearing a retaining wall before it hit the house, and you see the damage there. Luckily, the family of 5, including 3 children, all made it out unharmed.
I didn't expect a flying truck, and I'm like, what's going on? Like, I must be in a sleep stupor or something. I can't process like what I'm seeing in front of me.
Wow, officers say the 2 inside the truck were taken to the hospital with minor injuries. The driver's been charged with both reckless driving and recklessly endangering.
Oh my goodness. This is bad. This is a really bad wreck.
2 Oregon State troopers are in the hospital with serious injuries, and a police canine was hurt in a crash involving a semi near the Dalles. This is video from yesterday morning at the I-84 exit to Highway 197. It shows a semi-trailer nearly on its side and a state fish and wildlife truck that sustained heavy front-end damage. Authorities say the troopers were actually responding to a separate crash involving that log truck you see right there. At the time of this happening, the cause of the crash still under investigation. 2 hikers had to be rescued by the Coast Guard after they fell down an avalanche chute on Mount Eleanor in the Olympic National Forest. The helicopter crew out of Astoria was called up to help pull the 51-year-old and 16-year-old out because it wasn't safe for crews on the ground to get to them. The 51-year-old suffered injuries to her abdomen. The teen injured their knee while trying to help. Once they were both pulled out, both were taken to the hospital. All right, well, snow is expected to continue falling in parts of the Coast Range and the Cascades, and it's expected to last for a couple of days. There comes Chris McGinnis with a look at our weather. Chris?
Yeah, a couple of winter weather advisories continue in the Coast Range and in the Cascades. Let me go back and show you the radar over the last 3 hours. We've been flirting with some low elevation snowflakes as well. We saw snowflakes in Portland, I should say at the Sylvan Hill early this morning. That's up at about 750 feet. And actually, check this out. It's some cool video of something we don't often see, snow on the Astoria column. That's the hill that sits above Astoria there. That's up at about 600 feet, and this is what it looked like for a few hours this morning. Someone out there shoveling the walk. So yes, shovelable snow at 600 feet there. All right, back to the radar. over the last 3 hours. You can see the showery nature here where we get a couple sprinkles or some snow flurries and then the precipitation shuts off. And that's really the way I expect the weather to be over the next 24 hours. That said, winter weather advisories continue in the Cascades and in the Oregon Coast Range from now until Friday morning. So be aware if you're traveling through the high country, you need to be prepared and properly equipped. Right now, we've got a south breeze at Portland. There you go, the flag atop the Umpqua building, bank building out of the south. It's 43 at the airport, 42 in Tigard, and temperatures in the low 40s right now in Salem. This afternoon, we'll kind of hover in the low 40s for the rest of the day. Maybe a wet snowflake or two mixed in overnight tonight. And then this is where it gets a little bit interesting. We finally get a little cooler overnight with temperatures dipping to down near freezing by early tomorrow morning. So the question, will it snow in Portland? Most likely not. That said, the chance is not zero. It's marginally cold enough, but the moisture is pretty limited. The hours that we're watching in the wee hours of tomorrow morning and again Thursday for that possibility of some snowflakes in the air, even down at the lowest terrain. We'll walk you through that with Futurecast coming up in just a few minutes.
Okay, thanks, Chris. We'll see you then. Portland General Electric just announced a nearly $2 billion deal to expand into Washington state. PGE says it plans to buy parts of PacifiCorp for $1.9 billion. The deal would add about 140,000 customers in Washington and includes natural gas and wind power facilities, along with thousands of miles of transmission lines. PGE says it will operate the Washington system as a separate company and keep current employees. The company also says Oregon and Washington customers will not see their rates go up because of the purchase. The deal still needs state and federal approval, which could take up to 12 months. The Gresham Library is closing its doors to make way for a new East County library. The new building is expected to be 5 times bigger than the current library, and in order to move books, furniture, and other materials out of Gresham Library, the building on Northwest Division will close on March 27th. Now, some important dates to remember around this. March 16th will be the last day to use Gresham Library's community rooms. Programming at the library will stop on March 22nd. That will also be the last day to place a hold for pickup, and March 26th will be the last day to pick up those holds. An exclusive interview with Breezy Johnson. Coming up, how the Olympic gold medalist feels after winning it big in Italy. Stay tuned for that.
Matthew Herchick, new morning anchor at KGW. I'm a huge sports fan, and I know I might be from the Buckeye State, but I'm excited to explore what the Rose City has to offer. I want to make sure you're prepared for the day, whether it's bringing you breaking news or sharing those inspirational stories that make you smile. We've got you covered. Because when news moves fast, you need a team that moves with you. Make the move to Portland's #1 streaming newscast, Sunrise, weekday mornings from 5 to 9, anywhere you watch.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW+.
Ooh, yeah. Still doesn't seem real.
Oh, but it is. That's bronze medalist and Portland native Jackie Wiles, still soaking up her win in the women's combined last week, the first Olympic medal of her career. And we caught up with her on a well-deserved vacation, a quick one, we imagine, before she heads to the World Cup. Wiles says Cortina holds a special place now. It's a spot where she scored enough points to make her first Olympic team in 2014 and likely the run that marks the final page in her Olympic journey.
Downhill ski racing still scares me and I have fear every time I start in the gate, but the willingness to put yourself out there and push through that fear and then kind of coming on the other side and pushing past that and that feeling of it's okay, I did it, I think is one of the most empowering feelings.
When the World Cup is done, Wiles says she can't wait to get back home and sleep, probably for 20 hours straight in her own bed. Well, former Western Washington University student Breezy Johnson became the first U.S. women's downhill skier to win a gold medal in the Olympics since 2010. Jake Wittenberg and Chris Egan from our sister station in Seattle spoke to her about all of her Olympic accomplishments.
All right, can we see this medal?
Yeah.
Cool. This is so heavy.
Yeah, they're pretty hefty. The size to weight ratio, they're pretty thick and heavy is pretty impressive. So.
And on the back?
On the back it says women's skiing.
Alpine skiing, women's downhill.
Yeah.
When you're flying down the mountain, do you have anything in your head or anything? What are you thinking when you're going through those gates? I'm always curious.
You're thinking about your plan, you're thinking about the next thing you need to do, your next press and when to time it, and then there's, a lot of come-ons, and luckily the run went well, so there were no F-bombs.
That's why we don't mic you up in the downhill.
Sometimes people can hear me not mic'd up. That has happened. Luckily, they don't find us. So. Yeah, I call it, Formula One on ice with giant knives on your feet. So, yeah, we're reaching speeds of over 80 miles an hour, so faster than you go on the highway. And the gates are bouncing around in your vision, and you got to kind of pick the average of where all the gates are, and you're trying to do kind of mental physics at 80 miles an hour, which is a little crazy, but...
Cortina is a place that sidelined you for a bit. How special was it to, I don't know if the word's redemption on that mountain, but to have that run at a place that took you out?
The sport at its best is really cool, and to be able to have that moment on the hill that ended my Olympic journey last time was very full circle and very rewarding, and I think showed me and hopefully other people that good things do come to those who wait, good things do come to those who work, and sometimes you don't get it when you think you should, but that doesn't mean you won't ever get it.
You get a gold and you get a ring too, right? Kind of a fun week for you, huh?
Yeah, not everybody gets the 6th ring. It was a really special week. I think, combining the two loves of my life, and people don't have to ask me what the best week of my life is, and I have to choose.
You already know.
I just combined them.
And in case it wasn't clear, Breezy got engaged to be married there at the end of her run. Well, heavy snow is falling in Livigno, Italy. Delayed some Olympic competitions this morning. More than 8 inches of snow has fallen there in the past day. All that, along with some strong winds. The women's and men's freestyle skiing aerials qualifying runs and the women's snowboard slopestyle event were all delayed until either later today or tomorrow.
Well, we've been talking about how we need snow in the Cascades. Check this out. It continues snowing at a reasonable clip up at Timberline. They are now up to a 4.5-foot base. A big difference from last week at this time. And the snow threat continues up there through the end of the week. Meanwhile, down low, we're watching for maybe some snowflakes in the air. I've got your forecast coming up after the break.
Hi, I'm Christine Padawanich. I'm a journalist at KGW, and I love exploring Portland's amazing food scene. New spot? I'm there. So I don't just report about our community, I belong to it. What happens here affects us all, and that's why we care so deeply about getting it right. And when local journalism is done right, it doesn't sit still, it moves. It moves you to act, to vote, to volunteer, to speak up, or to lend a hand. It moves your mind by challenging assumptions and offering new perspectives. It moves you forward by giving you the information to make decisions and thrive where you live. And yes, it moves your heart through the good stuff that stays with you wherever you are. And at KGW, we're here for all of it. These are the stories that move Portland.
All right, Chris McGinnis. Hey, that looked great up at Timberline when you showed us.
55-inch base up there now.
Hey, that's a lot
Last
better.
week at this time, I think it was like 30.
Whew,
We're gonna probably tack on another foot, maybe 18 inches between now and Saturday.
That's where we
at
want
Timberline.
the snow, right?
That's where we want the
Yeah.
snow. But the question everyone's asking,
yes,
since you've been looking at your apps on your phone, will it snow in Portland? No, I don't. We're not. We aim to inform, not scare. Okay, here's I hate to rain on the parade, so to speak. Most likely not. But why the hedge? Why the hedge? Marginally cold enough air, but limited moisture. The time frame, if we were to see any snow in the air in Portland, would be in the overnight and early morning hours, with the snow levels possibly getting down to about 500 feet or so. Again, this is Wednesday and especially Thursday as well. We'll show you more on that in a second. For now, radar over the last 3 hours showing a little smattering of showers around the area and some dry time too. I mean, you get sprinkled or snow flurried on, and then it dries up for an hour or two, and then we rinse, wash, and repeat. And that's been the scenario here throughout the day today. Winter weather advisories for sure continue in the Oregon Coast Range. If you're traveling over the coastal passes, Highway 34, Highway 6, Highway 26, that means you. Up in the Oregon Cascades, traveling anywhere east of Sandy up over about 1,500 feet, it gets snowy. So there you certainly need to be prepared if you're traveling for snow-covered roads. Chains or traction tires, if not implicitly required, they're good to have. Check tripcheck.com for the most current requirements. And just a reminder, when you do go up into the high country, with the requirements, if you get into a situation where you get stuck and you don't have those on your car, being chains or traction tires, you could be cited for that. So just know this is important as you go in that direction. All right, down low for the rest of us, the breeze is out of the south. It's hard to get snow in the valley when you have a south breeze. It's 13 miles an hour right now at the airport with a 42-degree temperature. Elsewhere, we're in the low 40s in Beaverton, Battlegrounds up to 42. Aurora, it's at 42, and Almsville right now at 40 degrees as well. All right, here's the setup. We have swirling low pressure here offshore. See the speckly nature to the clouds? A little bit of convectiveness to that. What that basically means is that the air loft is so cold, and the temperature difference from that and the surface of the ocean, which is not warm, but the air loft is really cold, that we start getting these little pop-up cumulus clouds, which eventually form the showers that we see out there that have been kind of pinwheeling here through the Pacific Northwest. They will continue to do that over the next 36 to 48 hours. And in there, the atmosphere is cooling. And so you've probably seen one or two snowflakes in the air in some of the higher terrain around town. We saw some flakes at the Sylvan Hill earlier this morning. Now, by tomorrow morning, we get as low as maybe 32, 31 degrees, which you say, oh, well, that's cold enough for snow. Yeah, but is there any moisture? Futurecast suggests maybe not, as that one little piece of energy rotates on through the area early tomorrow morning. By mid-morning, as the temperatures start to warm, we do see some activity here, but again, that will likely be confined to terrain above 500 feet. So on the valley floor, not likely. Not a no, but certainly not likely. Rolling into Wednesday night and Thursday, another slug of moisture comes in. Again, the timing with the temperatures, is it cold enough to produce snowflakes on the valley floor? The answer is maybe. We're not overly confident that that would happen, but it's not a for sure no. That said, Futurecast doesn't see any snow in the valley floor tomorrow morning. That's good news. Now, overnight, Wednesday into Thursday, it does try to highlight some of the higher terrain around town. So again, down around 500 feet or so, not a complete no, something that we're keeping our eyes on. But will this be a big valley snowstorm? No, we're pretty confident on that. So that's good news. 45 with a few showers. Mixed rain and snow showers early, and then just rain showers tomorrow. Same story on Thursday. And then we come out of it with milder weather, slightly milder weather as we go into the weekend. Back to you, Tim.
All right, Chris, thanks a lot. Felt pretty good about driving the Nissan Leaf in today. Maybe Highlander tomorrow. We'll see. Coming up, a civil rights leader and presidential candidate. Just two of the titles Jesse Jackson earned over the years. How he's being remembered by others. Coming up after the break.
KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
I'm Trina Green, a morning anchor at KGW and new dog mom to this sweet guy. Meet Barry. I love getting your mornings off to a great start, whether it's sharing stories of resilience and triumph in our community, or following breaking news from Beaverton to Gresham and everywhere in between. We've got you covered, because when news moves fast, you need a team that moves with you. Make the move to KGW Sunrise, weekday mornings from 5 to 9, anywhere you watch.
Oregon's first black female state senator has died. Ava Gordley joined the Oregon House in 1991, serving 3 terms. Then in 1996, she made history when she was sworn into the state Senate. So during her time in office, Gordley championed initiatives focusing on criminal justice and mental health. She was also the chief petitioner for a constitutional amendment that removed the state's black exclusion laws from the records. Her niece tells KGW she died of natural causes just a few days after her 79th birthday. And overnight, a longtime civil rights activist and 2-time presidential candidate, Reverend Jesse Jackson, died at the age of 84. He visited KGW Sunrise in 2017 to discuss a deadly TriMet Max attack. His activism spanned decades, including 2 runs for the Democratic presidential nomination in 1984 and 1988. Cole Higgins has this remembrance.
Jesse Jackson's life was defined by a relentless fight for justice and equality.
I was born in Greenville, South Carolina, in rampant, radical racial segregation. Had to be taught to go to the back of the bus or be arrested.
In 1965, he began working for Reverend Martin Luther King Jr.
I learned so much from him. Such a great source of inspiration.
Both men were in Memphis in April 1968 to support striking sanitation workers. King and other civil rights leaders were staying at the Lorraine Motel.
He said, Jesse, you know, you don't even have on a shirt and tie. You don't even have on a tie. We're going to dinner. I said, Doc, you know, it does not require a tie. Just an appetite. We laughed. I said, Doc, and the bullet hit.
With King gone, his movement was adrift. Years later, Jackson formed Operation Push, pressuring businesses to open up to black workers and customers, and adding more focus on black responsibility, championed in the 1972 concert, Watts Stacks.
In Watts, we have shifted from burn, baby, burn to learn, baby, learn.
The Reverend set his sights on the White House in 1984. First thought of as a marginal candidate, Jackson finished 3rd in the primary race with 18% of the vote. He ran again in 1988, doubling his vote count and finishing in second in the Democratic race. At the time, it was the farthest any black candidate had gone in a presidential contest.
But 20 years later, when President Barack ran, we were laying the groundwork for that season.
In 2017, Jackson had a new battle to fight, Parkinson's disease, but it didn't stop him. Late in life, he was still fighting. He was arrested in Washington while demonstrating for voting rights. His silent presence at the trial of Ahmaud Arbery's killers prompted defense lawyers to ask that he leave the courtroom. Jackson stayed. From the Jim Crow South through the turbulent 60s and into the Black Lives Matter movement, Jesse Jackson was a constant, unyielding voice for justice.
And a local pastor, Reverend Dr. Charles Curry from the United Church of Christ, saying of Jackson, quote, "In 1988, I cast my first vote for president in the Oregon primary. My vote was for Jesse Jackson. Today, I join those mourning the death of the Reverend Jesse L. Jackson, Sr." We'll be right back.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
Today marks the start of the Lunar New Year, and to celebrate, Portland's Lansu Chinese Garden is putting on some special events. This year is the year of the horse. So right now until 1 p.m. there will be a mini horse meet and greet. That's pretty cool. And every Wednesday through Sunday through Lunar New Year, which goes until March 8th, there'll be light shows and dragon dances at night. They have a ton more activities happening throughout the holiday. For details and tickets, head to lansugarden.org.
Do you know your Chinese animal?
You know, I don't.
I'm a horse.
You are a horse,
my
but this is your year.
I'll blow your mind.
Yeah.
I'm an earth horse.
No.
Do you know that they actually they break it down into the different elements as well?
What other than an
earth? Earth, water, fire.
Okay.
I forget what the other one is.
I'm learning. I love it.
Earth, wind, and fire, baby.
Yeah. But you're earth horse.
Remember September? All right, no, that was a bad joke. Let's go to forecast. Okay, so on and off rain showers this afternoon, 45. So temperatures tomorrow and Thursday. We do get colder. We also have some limited moisture around. Will there be some snowflakes in the air? Maybe. We do continue with the impact alert for the higher terrain for sure in the Cascades and in the Coast Range.
Yeah, we know you'll be watching it closely. We appreciate it, Chris. And thanks so much for joining us this afternoon. We'll see you back here and next time.